Hey, grace and peace, Dr. J with your Moment with Jackson, where we explore the intersection between faith, personal development, and purpose. Hope that you've had a great day. So we've been talking about the difference between purpose, calling, and assignment. Yesterday we talked about calling and how calling is your bailiwick. One of my friends from work says, I learned a new word, bailiwick, your wheelhouse, your lane, your metron, what you've been designed, how you've been fashioned, how your experiences, your training, how all those things converge. And the goal in life is to know that calling, so that as you're making decisions about where you show up, it allows there to be a synergy, an alignment, and an opportunity to fully manifest that calling. Now, what is the difference between calling and assignment? Assignment is the place, the job, the city, the industry that your calling comes forth. That's where a lot of us get in trouble, right? If we be honest, we are either in the wrong assignment, or we've stayed in an assignment too long, because assignments are temporary. Now, that can last from 20 years to 2 days and anything in between. And so we have to be clear that my purpose never changes. My calling doesn't change, but the places and the ways in which I can demonstrate my purpose and calling does shift based upon the assignment. Who you were in one city may not be who God is calling you to be or to operate in another city. How you function and showed up in one industry is very different from how you may show up in another industry. Who I was when I was a police officer is very different than who I am as a corporate leader and a professor now. The core of who I am as my purpose and knowing who I am in God and knowing more about Him, that doesn't change. My calling to preach, teach, and counsel, my calling to find the intersection between purpose, faith, and personal development doesn't change. But how I show up as a corporate leader is very different than how I showed up as a cop, very different than how I showed up as a pastor. Even as I prepare to pastor again, how I show up again as a pastor again, very different. And we have to be comfortable with that. And know that seasons change and be willing to follow God. I see assignments like tents versus houses. And I think sometimes we are pitching houses, building houses and assignments where we should really just build tents and be flexible and willing to follow God when He says to move.